Hello everybody, welcome back to Learning Biology 14.5. So the last one, we are going to focus on the growth and development, but no longer in plants. We're going to focus them on humans. Okay, so similarly, for the last part, we said that there are the growth curve, or we can say the sigmoid curve for the annual plant, right? And the same goes for human, but human is a little bit more different, all right? Because as you can see, this is not a total S shape, and we can't really describe this shape, okay? So this is a growth curve, all right? And it is divided into different stages. There are in total 5 stages, okay? So try to say these words with me. First one, infancy. So that is when you're a baby. And then childhood, children, adolescence, teenager, adulthood, adult, and old stage when you become elderly. However, there are two special stages. We call it the rapid growth, or we can also say the growth spurt. Spurt is just like a sudden movement. All right, so it's like a sudden growth, a rapid growth. And these two stages will be the infancy when you are a baby and adolescence when you are a teenager. Okay, so don't include childhood. Okay, this is one of the MC often asked. So here, we need to describe the curve somehow. So what does it mean if the slope is steeper or if the slope is gentler? Gentle slope. So gentle, I've wrote this word earlier in on the blackboard. Gentler or steeper slope. We need to use this type of adjectives. All right? So as you can see, where can we find the steeper slope? Of course, during the two rapid growth, the infancy and adolescence. And again, try to look at how we describe these curves. First one, so that would be the infancy. During infancy, you can see that the growth occurs rapidly because the growth curve is very steep. Okay? And then it slows down a bit in childhood. After that, during adolescence, it becomes rapid again. Okay, so these three are very easy to understand. And then during adulthood, as you can see, it levels off here. So try to remember this word, levels off. Okay, level off means the curve becomes flat. So this part is we are talking that during adulthood, we have reached the maximum size. Okay, so there will be no longer any net growth. Remember, we are still continue to grow, but then there is no net growth. Okay, that means the cell division is still happening, but then the rate of cell production will be the same as the cell destruction, or you can say cell worn out. All right, so because every day and every moment, our cells may be replaced. Some cell dies, some cell are injured and they need to be replaced. All right. So therefore, these new cell production will only meet up the new cell replacement. There will still be cell division, and they are only to replace the worn out or dead cells. All right. But when we reach the old stage, or when we become elderly, all right, the growth becomes negative. That means, first of all, we do not grow anymore. Instead, our rate of cell division or cell production is slower than that of cell replacement. Okay? Our cell needs to be replaced or they are worn out, they are damaged faster than we can produce new cells. Okay? So as you can see, the growth becomes negative after we get to the old stage. Just one more thing, just to remind you, why can we not say it slowly goes down when we get old? Because we are dead. Because, remember, this is a growth curve. So during this whole growth curve, we are still alive. Once we reach death, we'll stop drawing this growth curve. It will not drop to 0. Alright? So be careful about this. The next part, we need to know that our different body parts will grow at a different rate. Okay? At different time. Different body parts grow at different time at different rates. Okay. So as you can see, this is our year. This is okay, first of all, infancy, and this will be the childhood, and this will be the adolescence. All right? For example. And then this one is about the relative size. So please underline this. We always talk about the relative size instead of the actual size. Okay? Relative 係解相對嘅 actual 係解真實嘅 size. Alright? So first of all, during infancy, you can tell me which part develops the fastest and why. It would be the head and brain because it is the steepest. The slope is the steepest. And then when would we develop the reproductive organs the fastest? It would be the adolescence because during this period, the slope will be the fastest. Okay? For our whole body, it's quite constant. We would say it's quite constant. Alright? Or somehow you can actually see the two growth spurt here. The two rapid growth here. This is the infancy, this is the childhood, this starting to become the adolescence. Alright? So now we're going to talk about that they have different growth rates and the relative sizes will change with age. Alright? So first one is like the head. We focus on the head. You can say that it is fast during infancy, or you can say it decreases with age. What does it mean? That means when you get older, the relative size decreases. Relative size. Okay? So it actually grows rapidly during the early stage. Okay? Compared to the rest of the body. However, when we talk about the limbs means your hands and your legs, alright? So as you can see in this diagram, the limb is very short when we are like fetus, alright? Or like when we are baby. But then it increases with age. As we grew older, we can see that the proportion, the percentage of height, the proportion means 個比例啦, is actually increasing when we get older. Okay? So the limbs will grow slowly at early stage, but then they'll start growing more rapidly than the rest of the body when we get older. And lastly will be the trunk. Trunk means your body part, this body part, like a 身軀啦. It's mostly the same. So when you look at this diagram, you can see that it's like, okay, except for the fetus, all right? So you can see that it's like 1.5, right? This here, 1.5. And then here also 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, until the end, it's still mostly 1.5, right? All right, so as you can see, the relative size is nearly the same, remains constant. All right, when we are comparing to that of the whole body. That's all about this structure part, the body structures part. All right, and then for the last one, we're going to compare the male and female, the different gender or different sexes. All right, so we know that somehow the female will reach this puberty earlier than boys, all right? But then there is actually a pattern shown here. Okay, so you can look at this carefully. First of all, we need to look at, first of all, this is the age. And here we can see that their growth in height. Of course, height is one of the parameter, and we are only measuring the size, right? Height is only one parameter, but it can somehow reflect the puberty quite well. Okay, so this is a very common parameter used to reflect puberty. So as you can see here, girl reaches puberty earlier, like around age 9 or even 8 years old. However, for boys, women reach puberty like around 11. Alright? Another thing you need to know is that somehow the level of puberty, or let's say the strength, or the ratio is like boys will show a higher level of growth than that of the girl in this diagram. So somehow it's telling you that boys, due to some hormone due to some kind of reason, boys will grow taller than the females in general from this diagram, because we're only talking about the height. Okay, so that's all about this video, and there are 3 things we've talked about the humans. The first one, the gender, and then the next one, the different body parts, and then the last one will be the different stages of our life. So that's all for this part, and I hope you enjoy it. Please finish these 2 questions, and this will be the last video for chapter 14. So that's all for this video, and that's all for this chapter. Please do all the Google questions before you come to class, and I hope you enjoy this chapter. The next part will be quite a difficult chapter, so please also start getting ready. Okay, so that's all for this video, and I'll see you in next. Bye bye.